My dear brothers and sisters, when you reflect on this gospel of today, starting with Jesus commissioning the 12, the question is, did Jesus really need his apostles to be able to accomplish his mission? And I think the answer is no. Did Jesus need to send the 72 ahead of him to go to the towns and the villages where he was to visit after? Did he really need them? And the answer is no. And so what is the reason why Jesus sends his 12 apostles? He commissions them, and what is the reason why he sends the 72? And the answer is that he does not need us, but somehow he wants us. He does not really need us. And the same thing you can apply to his life, you can apply to the salvation history, that Jesus did not need to save us. It was not something for his own good to be able to do what he did for us, to die on the cross for us. He did not do that because he needed it. He did that because of the love that he has for each and every one of us. And the answer to all these questions that I've asked is love. The fact that he sends his apostles is because of love, because he wanted them to share in his mission. He wanted to use them. He did not need them, but he wanted them. He does not need us, but somehow he wants us. He wants to use us as instruments of his love. He wants us to share in his ministry. And that is why St. Luke includes in his gospel not only the commissioning of the 12, but the commissioning of the 72, meaning that all of us are now included in this mission. But then, how is the nature of this mission is something that we must look into. The fact that the description of this mission does not show anything that is easy. It's not really an easy life. He says he's sending them like lambs among wolves. And that is almost an impossible life to live. If you are sent as a lamb among wolves, if they follow that analogy, if that is true, then we can never survive in any mission. If we are sent like lambs among wolves, and he says, take with you nothing, take with you no purse, carry with you no purse, no haversack, no sandals. And I just thought about what I carry with me whenever I am going on mission. Coming to the Philippines, I had to carry two big bags and 23 kilograms each, and then a hand luggage and a rucksack again. 4 bags on a mission to the Philippines. And if I'm going to another mission, I don't know how many bags I will carry, because I want to bring pasolobong, I want to bring all these things. I might need an extra kilogram for my mission. But this is what Jesus talked. When Jesus talks about this, does it mean that we should not carry other things? I think the point is, Jesus really means that we must not, these things can become a source of distraction. It might make us to lose the focus of the mission that he has given to each and every one of us. And he says that it does not look anything easy. Lambs among wolves, and they're not carrying anything with you. An important thing here is that Jesus stresses that we must depend on him. If a lamb is with the shepherds, then it is safe among wolves. So even if wolves are there and the lamb has a good shepherd, then the shepherd can protect the lamb from the wolves. And if we have nothing, and we know that God always provides for us, Philippians chapter 4 verse 19, I will supply every one of your need according to my riches in Christ Jesus. That Jesus would always provide for us. Jesus would accompany us on this journey. He didn't send them by themselves. Yeah, they went by themselves, but also he promised to them when he commissions them in the end. Matthew's Gospel chapter 28 verse 20, he says, behold, I will be with you until the end of time. I would accompany you, I would not leave you or forsake you. But also we must remember through this gospel, therefore, that when we go through difficulties, It is not symbolic that God has forgotten us. When we go through trials and we are praying and we want to get out of it as soon as possible, no, it is not as if God has abandoned us. Actually, He has given us the privilege to share in His mission, to share in His suffering and death. And that's why 1 Peter says in chapter 4 that we have to rejoice that we share in the sufferings of Christ, so that when His glory is revealed, we will rejoice also exultantly. So my dear brothers and sisters, being a Christian means that we have all been commissioned, that we have become followers of Christ, and He wants to use us. He wants our hands to be His hands. Whatever thing we say, that it will be of Christ. Whatever thing we do, we would walk as if we are walking for Christ at all times. And therefore, we must always remember that by the fact that we are Christians, by virtue of our baptism, we have already been commissioned. And once we are commissioned, it's not going to be easy. We will be rejected. We will go through difficulties. He did not promise them a good life. He did not promise that they are going to have a salary and a pay for all these things. No. He says, I want you to share in my mission. And if we want to share in the mission of Christ, then we are ready also to share in the sufferings of Christ. But then it does not end with suffering, but the glory that is revealed at the end of time. So let us continue to ask through the intercession of Saint Luke that we may be ready to persevere, especially during difficult moments.